at least there's a nice view. Joining me now in this studio is Markus Mainzer from the Tax Justice Network. He's a senior researcher for the London-based NGO and has written a book called Tax Haven Germany. Markus, thank you very much for joining us in this studio, but you can't be serious. Germany, a tax haven.
Tax havens design laws and regulations to undermine the laws and regulations of other places. And in that sense, Germany is indeed a tax haven. For instance, we have more than 2.5 to 3 trillion of euros of untaxed assets hidden in Germany from non-residents, from people outside. Take the Swiss bank secrecy law, it's just the same story in Germany. And plus the extra benefit that German bankers don't risk anything if they take, even willingly, money that stems from foreign tax evasion. They can get caught. Nobody will be able to get them to trial in Germany. It's not an offense different than, for instance, Singapore or Britain or France. So we see here a clear invitation to tax evading assets from abroad to flow into Germany. Or let's take dictators' loot as well. We see here that Mobutu or Pinochet had accounts here, and also the more recent dictators or kleptocrats of the world, such as Yanukovych or Gaddafi, Mobutu, Mubarak, Ben Ali, they all had accounts or financial links to Germany. And
let me just take you back to the report that we've just seen. The companies we saw, for example, in that report, they're not letterbox companies. They're proper companies. They employ people. Surely it's okay for a town like Monheim to attract business.
I think it's a failure of the German political system to allow that kind of tax war, how we would prefer to call it, inside Germany. We are having trouble for decades to fight the kind of tax wars on a European Union level, and now we allow these kind of things to happen inside of Germany as well. And this is rather the exception, what we see in Monheim. Usually what happens is that the real economic activity does not get transferred to places with lower taxes. What we see happening instead is that the paper profits, the make-believe world of financial gimmicks and legal tricks, that is transferred to other places. So the real economic activities, the employment is not shifting.
But nobody likes to pay taxes. I certainly don't. And companies don't like to pay taxes. And as long as it's perfectly legal, isn't it understandable that companies or very rich individuals try to avoid paying them?
That's one of the problems. The prejudice is always, or that's the standard defense of corporations, this is all perfectly legal. And if we have a second look at this claim, we find very much doubt, at least added to this, because we have found lots and lots of cases where the big four accounting firms, for instance, were busy selling presumably perfectly legal tax avoidance schemes to corporations all over the world, but have then been found out by, for instance, the IRS, the US tax administration, that they needed to pay penalties in the hundreds of millions for these allegedly legal schemes. The problem today is that we don't know with a clear black-white scheme if something is perfectly legal or not. It has to be challenged at court to be found out, and this seldom happens today in today's world, and therefore there's a grey area where these tax avoidance tricks play, and it disadvantages small and medium enterprises if we allow these kind of benefits for large multinationals to play out against the nation states and against the smaller competitors.
Just very briefly, what has to happen?
We need to find out what corporations are really doing in every country they do business in. For now, we lack that data, and the German government is busy blocking proposals on a European Union level to reform this state of affairs, and we need to be able to evaluate if we are performing better, if we're improving, or if the problem grows even bigger.
Thank you very much. Markus Mainzer from the Tax Justice Network.